action, and information was provided to the board in advance. We do have good news tonight, staff member recognition. There are 2 action items on the agenda this evening. Ken Larson, Assistant Superintendent for Finance, will be talking with the Board of Education about an upcoming bond sale and refunding of some callable bonds. And then we'll ask the board to approve 2 course fees for courses that have already been approved. And then we have a discussion item tonight. You're going to learn what we know so far regarding a city proposal to create a redevelopment district. And then patron input is on the agenda, but as of the start of this meeting, there are no requests to address the board tonight. And then the board packet, which was posted online, does have a number of written reports under alerts. And then there are 2 executive sessions for tonight, one for negotiations and one for non-elected personnel.
Thank you. Okay, anything on the consent agenda? Yes, Bill.
I got a conflict with check number 47342 for district salt, about $1,347. I don't know how I got a penny out of it.
Okay.
I move to adopt the agenda and approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second by Kevin. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Thank you. It's nice out, Bill.
I know it finally.
It's the sun's out. Okay, I move to approve payment to Kansas Land Management LLC in the amount of $1,347.01 with check number 47342.
Second.
Angela? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Good news.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education. This evening we're going to be recognizing some staff members from 2 of our secondary schools. The first school we're going to recognize staff from is Monticello Trails Middle School. So I'd like the principal, Melissa Hanson, and associate principal, Brian LeBar, to come forward, please. The first 2 staff members we're going to recognize together, they are Dave Anderson and Kara Olson, both counselors at Monticello Trails Middle School. In March, our counselors, Dave Anderson and Kara Olson, coordinated a career day at Monticello Trails Middle School. Dave and Kara coordinated 42 community members or parents to come present about their careers to students at Monticello Trails Middle School. Students interacted with community professionals and were exposed to many different career paths. Through their hard work and vision, Dave and Kara provided a unique opportunity for our students, and the day was a huge success. I had the opportunity to spend over an hour at Monticello Trails that morning, going to some of the different presentations, and I just want to share one of the experiences one of the students had shared. They were getting checked out early that morning and were very upset with their parents for coming to check them out because they wanted to hear about this certain career, and they were not happy that their parent was checking them out from career day. Also, one of the presenters stated during their presentation that they chose their profession because of a career day that was at one of their middle schools. So it was a great program that Dave and Kara did, and I know they spent some of their snow days working on because the students got to select which careers they wanted to attend. So thank you, Dave and Kara, for your work on career day. The next staff member we want to recognize from Monticello Trails Middle School is the Administrative Assistant, Sean DeTolan. Shonda was an integral part in the coordination of Career Day as well. Her efforts organizing the day and communicating information to all those involved made the event run very smoothly. Thank you, Shonda, for your help in setting up a first-class event. Next, we'd like to recognize a couple staff members from DeSoto High School. If I could have Mr. Sam Ruff, principal, come forward. The first DeSoto High School staff member we'd like to recognize is Micah Tenner. Micah is a social studies teacher at DeSoto High School. Mr. Tenner works hard to plan engaging lessons for his social studies courses, which include AP Psychology and AP US History. His lessons motivate his students to think at a high level. Mr. Tenner is skilled in supporting all levels of learners and is effective at building relationships with his students in order to encourage and motivate them in the classroom. At the end of the year, Mr. Tenner's students earn some of the highest scores on their AP exams at DeSoto High School. We truly appreciate Mr. Tenner's skill and passion and thank him for his commitment to our students. Our next staff member is Martin Juarez, evening custodian at DeSoto High School. There is no job too big for Martin. Martin is always willing to go above and beyond his duties at DeSoto High School and assist our staff members when needs arise. He is always happy to help and does so with positive energy, enthusiasm, and with a smile on his face. Martin works the evening hours at DeSoto High School, which includes setting up for and breaking down many different events on a weekly basis on top of his daily routine. His veteran leadership, positive attitude, and willingness to consistently step up and lead our evening crew does not go unnoticed. It is much appreciated. We are proud to have Martin at DeSoto High School and want to thank him for his commitment to excellence, which helps make DeSoto High School the wonderful place it is. Our final staff recognition this evening is Nancy Perry, Spanish teacher at DeSoto High School. At the end of the year, a huge footprint will be left at DeSoto High School as a result of the retirement of Nancy Perry. Earlier this year, Mrs. Perry provided Mr. Ruff with a lengthy list of things she does for the district and DeSoto High School so that we could start identifying staff members that might be willing to take on those important tasks. The list includes District Calendar Committee, District Professional Development Representative, DHS National Honor Society sponsor, Ambassador and Mentor sponsor, Freshman Focus sponsor, DHS Building Leadership, Student Intervention Team Coordinator, VEP Coordinator, K-Toy Coordinator for the district, DHS Protocol Advisory Committee member, DHS Professional Development Staff Committee member, and the list continues to go on. And did we mention she is also an outstanding Spanish teacher at DeSoto High School? While there is no doubt about Nancy's commitment to the profession, it is her commitment to our students that has earned her the respect of her colleagues and students at DeSoto High School. Thank you, Nancy, and congratulations.
Okay, thank you. First action item, Mr. Larson.
Okay, good evening. I earlier sent you a written report regarding the refunding of 2009 bonds and a new bond issue not to exceed $35 million. Along with that, I sent a copy of the resolution that we would be approving tonight, along with Exhibit A, that's a projection of the debt repayment of principal and interest for this $35 million included, and another $30 million included next June, and the remaining $20 million the June after that. And so this projection covers entire bond issue in those different 3 years. The refunding, as I said in my report, there's 3 payments that aren't refundable, and it's due to some SEC changes earlier this year. They made some changes in what could be refunded and what could not. So we built this schedule with those 3 payments, and they're September of 19, September 20, September 21, remaining in our debt schedule as we to pay those 3 payments. The remainder of that issue then would be refunded, providing that everything continues to look as it does now. We did build this to the resolution to say not to exceed $35 million. So you can't issue more, but you could issue less if, as we get closer to June, it would appear that something happens wacky in the market and interest didn't look as favorable or something like that, and we could issue fewer. So that's the reason we have it structured that way. In the exhibit, if you look down through the schedule of mill levy, you probably saw that next year, 2021, we were showing, based on 7 or 6% valuation growth and 4% interest on the bonds, a mill levy of 20.3. And our promise to our patrons was we would not go over 20 mills. There's about 3 factors in there that will prevent us from going over. One is assessed valuation has exceeded 7% for like 4 years running, so it doesn't appear that that's going to be any less for the next foreseeable few years. Also, we're projecting 4% interest. Right now, it would be considerably less than that. So those 2 factors, higher valuation, lower interest, would automatically bring the mill levy down. If neither of those happen and everything else was right on here, then we would just use bond and interest reserve to feather that down under 20. And we have to carry a bond and interest reserve over every year because you have to make your September 1 payment. You don't get tax dollars in January, so you have to carry some money over. And we have sufficient reserve that we could feather that down if necessary. So I guess with that, are there any other questions that you would have tonight?
Good time to do them.
Seems to be.
I move to approve a resolution authorizing the offering for sale of general obligation improvement and refunding bonds, Series 2019A, of Unified School District Number 232, Johnson County, Kansas, etc.
Second.
Second by Billy. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie.
I appreciate it. Okay.
All right, so tonight we are asking the board to approve student course fees for 2 courses that you approved in December of this school year. And it is for graphic design fundamentals and graphic design workplace experience. When we had the information come before the Board of Education in December, we omitted the information that we needed to have a student fee. The student fee actually, as we indicated, will go toward the purchase of ink for the large format printers and various types and sizes of print media that goes along with that. So that is the action item before you. In addition to that, in your board report, we also wanted for you to see that we are regrouping the high school fees to be more aligned to the high school course guide. Do you have any questions?
Why don't we make that an AP course too? Is it possible?
Is there AP graphic design? Not yet? Thank you, Teresa.
Any other questions?
Bill, are you thinking because it has a fee, or what?
Well, if we could get it for part of the college degree.
these are our first graphic design class courses offered.
Actually, no, we've had graphic design, but these two courses were pulled out so that they can be covered more in depth as individual courses.
You wanted to say something, Cindy?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can answer any of your questions about this if you have questions.
I just had to look up and you looked like you
Did I cover that generally?
Yes,
Good,
the-
yeah.
so the course itself, the graphic design course has gotten to a point where it needed to be split into a fundamentals course and then also a workplace experience course. And in order for that to happen, we have to continue the same course fee because the students are gonna be using a printer that was actually donated from Udemaki. But in order to buy the print for this printer and keep it going, we have to continue the same course fee.
So the $20, it's $20 for the fundamentals class plus $20 for the workplace experience, correct? So $40 total. Can you take one without the other?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I move to approve a $20 fee for both graphic design fundamentals and graphic design workplace experience effective with the 2019-2020 school year.
Second by Mitch, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Schwartz. Okay, you ready for the next
Yes.
discussion item? So we were made aware, as we indicated in our written report, that the city of DeSoto is going to be considering the establishment of a redevelopment district. And this is the precursor to considering economic incentives via tax increment financing for a developer. And the developer is Hicks Properties, LLC, and the owner is Travis Hicks. And in the board packet, we included a map that I have in front of you for you to look at. And so there is going to be a public hearing on April 18th. This is the City Council of DeSoto, and so that's why we received notification. And they are going to consider only the establishment of this district. And as you can see on the map, Harps is to the north, and then you can see the property to the east of Harps. And then you'll see on the map that there are proposed roads, infrastructure that would be added as part of the redevelopment district. And then to the south, you see the Super 8 Motel, and then to the east would be the Jake's Fireworks, which I believe that company has already purchased the property, but has not done anything yet for development. We actually did some checking on the property in question as it stands today. It is currently zoned as industrial with agricultural use. The city is intending to rezone the property for commercial use, and currently all of those parcels together have an assessed value of approximately $750. Period, that's it. So not much that we get in terms of property tax. On Tuesday, March 26th, the developer asked if he could meet with us, so Frank and I did sit down with Travis, and he described just in general what he's thinking, and we don't have any details right now. Obviously, details about a TIF proposal and what a package might look like won't happen until after the city decides if it wants to proceed with the establishment of this district. He told us in general he would be seeking a tax increment financing over a 20-year period, generally about 80% for the taxes to go back into the projects to pay for the infrastructure that you see for the roads there. It's a 20-year period, and so one of the questions I had was, so what if you had somebody buy a property and develop it at year 15? Well, then that project only has 5 years left of the 20-year TIF. So it's 20 years from start to finish. It doesn't restart once a new project comes online. If you look at the property to the north, so you see Harps, and then to the north you see the red line, that property has been left vacant. There aren't any plans on it to do anything with that property right now. However, Mr. Hicks said it's possible that they could do more apartments there, which is why it is not being included in the redevelopment district proposal. So that is the information we have right now. It's just real general and vague. He did say that there would be a national retailer and a retail supplier and a national restaurant. But right now, some of those details he said are confidential. So the Board of Education does not need to take any action tonight. If the City Council approves the establishment of the district, then that starts the window of time. So technically you have 30 days as a Board of Education to consider the interjurisdictional veto. And so we actually have a Board of Education meeting scheduled for May 6th. By that time, we should have more information specifically about what incentive package the city is going to be considering for the developer.
When does that clock start ticking?
So the clock would start ticking on April 18th. If the board, so the City Council will have the public hearing will close, and then they will take action on whether or not they want to establish the district, and then the clock starts ticking. I believe May 19th is when the veto period expires. Should the Board of Education receive the information from the city about the project, about the district, if you take no action, then that means the TIF project will move forward. If there are no other entities that will veto it. So there are 3 entities that at this point would be the city, school district, and Johnson County Board of Commissioners. You know?
I got one question. How come we only get $750 off all this property that's commercial when he's selling it for $300,000 an acre? And where's the appraiser at on this? I mean, my building and stuff is going up sky high. How can this ground now be worth more of $750 when he's selling it for $300,000? And he isn't growing it or anything on it.
And actually, that's exactly why, because even though the current zoning is industrial, the use is ag, and ag properties are valued based on their production value. And right now, they're not producing much of anything, and so that's what the value currently is based on. Since it's ag use, is based on the production value of the property.
I thought they revoked some of that, changed some of the laws because of the perimeter park. They took a lot of that off as artist payroll for agriculture.
And
Building commercial.
yeah, and at this point, all I know is how it's currently zoned and how it's appraised.
So you might want to talk to the state of KASB about changing the law, because it's not quite fair if you're not growing.
But something else that you will have an opportunity to consider is that if the package is truly at 80% TIF, that means the taxing authorities, like the school district, would receive 20% of the property taxes. So 20% of a development going in is going to be significantly more than what we're getting now. I don't know if this is a factor, Bill, with your question about valuation. It is an enterprise zone, so you've got industrial zoning inside an enterprise zone that's agricultural use. So I don't know if that has a factor as to why the lower.
Well, I know most of the time this 20-year thing is not a good thing, because most of the time industrial revenue, even though most of them are 100%, they taper them down. This isn't tapering nothing down over 20 years, so you're not going to get a heck of a lot for what you're.
And again, we don't know, the city may negotiate some sort of graduated TIF. Those details have yet to be hammered out. So all we have right now is just, it's very vague and it's just kind of general. But, go ahead.
After the meeting with the city, will there be more information or evaluation of the property after developed that we would know?
Yeah, so, very good question. So there is a general timeline that the city has provided us. So assuming that the city council passes an ordinance establishing the redevelopment district, by April 22nd or thereabouts, a project plan will have to be filed with the city clerk, and then we would get a copy of that project plan, which should include some of that information, making some assumptions on assessed valuation. And then by May 2nd, the city council would adopt a resolution that would call for a second public hearing on the incentive package for the TIF. So we'll have a little bit more information late April, but right now we just don't have that.
When's the board meeting, the 6th?
May 6th.
The rest of the people in this development, like Pizza Hut, Myers, Commons, they don't have any tax breaks, do they?
Only Harps currently.
Yeah. Okay, well, I hate to be the owner of the building tax code.
Mitch, a little bit on your question, we'll ask, well, what happens to the valuation if it's approved? So we'll get more information about that to present to you when there's something, but, because the question would be, is that if it's rezoned, does that change the way it can be valued? If the roads go in, does it change the way that it's valued? And then, because after the roads go in, but before any development before there's something built and something's happening, the value is not gonna be its total amount, but it may be more than the 750 that it is now. So we'll find that out.
I will tell you, I think the city has already zoned it commercial or will be shortly. So they're gonna change the zoning, so that may directly impact assessed valuation.
This information you're providing, I know years back when we had the issue with exception shop.
Right.
The establishment of board policies and procedures were based upon what I understand and recall of that. That's what we're following tonight.
That is correct. So by putting this on the board agenda, it is following the procedure that was established by policy. All right, so any other questions about this? Well, we will keep you informed, even prior to May 6th. If there's information to share, we will certainly do that.
Thank you very much. Okay, before we go into executive session, just a reminder, some very informative alert reports that need to be read. Okay, so let's go into, keep looking over here. Okay, so I move to go into executive session at 6:30 p.m. for a period of 30 minutes with Frank Harwood, Albie Cater, Ken Larson, Brian Schwans, and Carrie Handy to discuss the notification of negotiations letter pursuant to the exception for employer-employee negotiations under coma and return to open session at 7 p.m. at this location.
Is this a 30-minute one?
Yes.
Okay. Second.
All in favor? Raise your right hand.